This project came from a colleague in NICRE who was a trustee of a village hall and understood what the challenges were for that village hall and the sustainability around power and power generation and the cost of electricity. So from developing that and that option around putting PV panels on the roof to generate, but also batteries in to store that power so it could be utilised when it was needed rather than when it was generated, this project was born.
Originally, we were aiming to try and help village halls in Northumberland reduce their carbon footprint and to a certain extent reduce their energy costs. But over the last 2 years, the objectives have completely changed. So it's still about reducing carbon footprint. It's much more about reducing energy costs because of what's happened over the last 12 months. And it's also about community resilience and increasing that. So actually having the opportunity of backup power in batteries associated with the solar panels that can be used when the national grid is down is just a phenomenal benefit for village halls.
We started off working with individual places and looking at what they could do to potentially install solar panels, potentially to decarbonise and reduce their energy costs. But it quickly became clear that by working together, we could do things differently. We could achieve so much more. So we created an idea around a community benefit society, which meant that we could link everyone together and access the sort of resources that might help everybody to achieve their goals.
So actually, the power of bringing everybody together means that they actually are sharing that risk, or actually it's the new entity, which in this case is the cooperative, that's actually taking that risk. It's raising the money, they haven't got to do that. It's insuring the equipment, they haven't got to do that. It's going to repair the equipment, they haven't got to do that. All they've got to do is get cheap electricity from the panels on the roof and a backup power supply from the batteries when they need it. So what's not to like?
Through working together, we've been able to create an environment where we can access funding that's not otherwise available to people. But the big thing is that we can access resources in terms of expertise that's not available to individual places.
Long Horton as a community, looking to the future, climate change, cost of energy, all those sort of things, know that we've got a tremendous challenge ahead. And so it was easy to get involved in this project, which is clearly going to address some of those major issues. We've got to work together on these projects. They're not going to be simple. Individual communities or groups of people aren't going to be able to develop them themselves.
This project's a great example of a NICRE innovation project in that it came from a grassroots need and a challenge that communities were facing. It's delivered with partners, it's scalable, it can be made bigger, it can be expanded, it's replicable, so it can be repeated anywhere in the country. And also a blueprint will come out of this which can be built upon and taken by other communities.
The opportunity to do something similar, slightly different probably, but take the learning from this and do it in other places is evident, you know, and we're part of something called the ACRE network, which is Action with Communities in Rural England, and there's a lot of our partners around the country and other counties that are really, really interested in what we're doing. The ambition I think we're showing by saying we're going to get to 100 buildings after 5 years. That hopefully will inspire an awful lot of people.
This project is a great example of rural innovation because it's allowed those community spaces to adopt technologies that are new to them.
Rural innovation is all about that pragmatism. It's about bringing ideas from different places and combining them in a better way.
I'm really proud of this, but that's on behalf of everybody because it couldn't happen without the partners, the Rural Design Centre, NICRE, us, and it absolutely couldn't happen without the willingness and the participation of the halls.
We're helping to maintain those community spaces in communities for future generations.